USAID, Agency for International Development, not USAID, USAID, funded international NGOs that were able to cobble together and bring 30 million people from across the globe to the border of America. 30 million people. When people used to say, well, they're caravan, they're walking down from, the Darien Gap, I go, no, they're not. They're flying into South America or Panama, crossing the dangerous Darien Gap, and then the NGOs are waiting for them there to medicate, feed them, clothe them, and get them proper, and then they're busing. No one's walking. You know how long it take you to walk? That's like me, we're in Houston right now, and I'm gonna walk to Alberta, Canada. You know how long that's gonna take us, man? That's gonna take us 6 months to a year, if we're lucky. If we don't get snowed in or die out there.
Right.
Who's feeding them? Who's providing 30 million people meals, clothing, medicine, transportation? Well, we are. Everything that we did was against the law. And who was the ringleader? Was the Secretary of DHS, Alejandro Mayorkas. And everyone thinks Alejandro Mayorkas fell from the sky. Alejandro Mayorkas was the director of USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Service. They're a powerful organization within DHS and immigration. Then he became, under Obama's second term, became the deputy secretary, and then he's the secretary. And when you go back and you look at every policy decision, every new policy, every bastardization of the law, everything, one man had his hand in everything and created everything. He was the creator of all of it, Alejandro Mayorkas. DACA, prosecutorial discretion, parole, asylum abuse, catch and release, CBP One app. Hell, I can go on and on and on. Only one man did it. One man created all of it. And that was Secretary Mayorkas. And why do I pin it on him? Not only did he do it, but he is a naturalized citizen from the communist nation of Cuba. Now, are there Cubans here that are patriotic Americans? Absolutely. But when I look at a man that comes from a communist nation, naturalizes, and then destroys American sovereignty, I have to connect those dots. He's a traitor. Our DHS, who has billions of dollars, washed the money clean through FEMA, and FEMA gave it to the NGOs, the Catholic Charities, the Jewish Family Services, HIAS, Lutheran Family Services, and all these domestic NGOs that have international ties, so their international brothers and sisters, brought them to the border. The domestic half of the other side of the NGOs brought them into the interior of America. They planned this out. The NGOs were fully funded now and were getting billions of dollars, so they had their whole apparatus set up, so they were moving bodies as fast as they can get them. And it was the greatest theft of American money since COVID. Hundreds of billions of dollars. And they moved the people into the interior. And they did it through the NGOs. And now we're beginning to see, right, through Doge, that what is the money laundering machine that all the politicians have been using for decades, and it's the NGOs. So the federal government made the determination that they don't have the manpower, the resources, the vehicles, etc., to move those bodies. So we had to make a partnership, an evil partnership with the NGOs. And let me give you an example of the money, okay? So I interviewed a guy for my documentary that worked in DHS and was responsible for Jewish Family Services payment. He would hit the electronic fund transfer. And he told me the biggest check I cut to Jewish Family Services was $600 million for about 2 or 3 months. And it was renewable. Then he said, the real theft was not the $600 million. I was like, what are you talking about? $600 million. And I said, Catholic Charities is bigger than Jewish Family Services. They're getting more? Yeah. Lutheran Family Services is about the same size as Jewish Family Services. Are they getting the same? Yep. He says, but that's not the bad part. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell's the bad part? He said, Well, once I give Jewish Family Services the $600 million, all of the NGO organizations underneath Jewish Family Services come out of the woodwork and say, we work under Jewish Family Services and we need money for COVID test. We need $5,000 for food, $5 million for food. We need $10 million for clothes. And I said, well, what did you do? He says the marching order was to pay them whatever they told you they needed and demanded, no questions asked. So you sent $600 million to Jewish Family Services, but then you laundered tens of millions of dollars through their NGO network up to Jewish Family Services. Then you go down and you look at HIAS. Do you know who was on the board of HIAS prior to Biden getting into office? His name is Alejandro Mayorkas. He has drones up. He's like he's a former military special forces guy. He's got all the gadgets. He has his drones up in the Darien Gap because he's seen the inordinate amount of people crossing the Darien Gap going to America. So he goes down there to test it. In the middle of the jungle, and the Darien Gap is inhospitable. It is horrible. He sees Black Hawk helicopters landing. He's like, what in the hell's going on? Throws his drones up. Guess who is landing in the jungle in Darien Gap in April of 2022? Alejandro Mayorkas. What is the Secretary of DHS doing in the jungle of Panama? Well, he was there to oversee billions of dollars of building facilities to help make the journey of illegal aliens more safe and more efficient. Fast forward to 2024, Alejandro Mayorkas is on the ABC Sunday show, and this is one of many times that he openly admits, yes, we went down there and we built brick and mortar buildings in 4 to 5 different countries to facilitate illegal aliens' journeys to be more efficient. They swear that they have identified at least 100,000 PLA soldiers. You said it perfectly. We didn't dodge a bullet when Kamala lost. We dodged a nuclear missile that was going to obliterate America. Because I will tell you this, if Kamala would have won, the Border Patrol would have been decimated. People were leaving in droves. You would have seen numbers of 5,000 to 10,000 a day look like the good old days. We'd be at 20, 30, 40,000 people a day. America would be over, I believe.